Welcome to Back Issue Classics, here inside the pull bag. TFG1 Mike brings in a variety of hosts to cover many comics. We review stuff from DC, Marvel, IDW, Image, Zenescope, and more. So open your ears to hear our discussions on comics you might not have known about. It's all here inside the pull bag with Back Issue Classics.
I warn you, I can be a difficult taskmaster. I accept nothing short of excellence from all who work for me.
I think I can handle it.
Very good then, Mr. McGinnis. Welcome to my world.
Hello and welcome to the Pullbag's third annual Batman month. Okay, technically we missed a year last year, but you get the point. I am, of course, TFG Mike, and joining me this time around once again is JT from Saskatoon. Hello, sir.
Good afternoon to you.
And we are continuing on with our Batman Beyond coverage because Batman Beyond has had a rebirth! Yay! We're actually going to be talking about 3 comics today because we have Rebirth number 1, which is the one-shot, which is the catch-all issue, which is the catch-up issue for anyone who has not read any of the Batman Beyond stuff from the 2015 Dan Jurgens Bernard Chang series. And then we've got issues number 1 proper and number 2 from the new Rebirth Batman Beyond series. For those of you who listened last week, you heard our final 2015 Wired for Death coverage covering issues 12 to 16 of the 2015 series, where at the end of that, Terry McGinnis was found to be alive. He was rewired, blah, blah, blah. Go back to that podcast and listen to that if you want to hear all about that. And, we're here to talk about the new series, the current series, and see if we're going to like it or not. And, going from having Tim Drake for 16 comics, or 16 issues of a comic, to going back to Terry McGinnis, it wasn't that hard for me. I think I said this last time when we talked about Wired for Death from the other series, that Tim's story ended well. It didn't, there was no, Joker electrified thing inside the back of his brain or anything like that. I mean, the guy got a nice little send-off, and we now have to kind of hit the reset on McGinnis and whatever else. The first thing I want to get out of the way, though, is as I'm reading this, and I don't have a real issue with it, but I have something that to where it's like, why is Dan writing it that way? When Terry does his internal monologue, and this actually happened in the 2016 or 2015 series a couple of times, I think. I could be wrong. But when Terry's doing his internal monologue in these 3 comics, at a couple of points, he calls himself McG. And the only thing I can think of is the guy who did Fastlane back in 2002, 2003.
And he was currently working
on Lethal.
Producing Lethal Weapon.
Yep.
Which is awesome series, folks. Check it out.
Only 2 episodes left, I think. No, that's... there's one series I watched that only has 2 episodes left or so until they take a break or so. I don't know. But anyway. Yeah, no, it is Lethal, because they just released episode 16 last week, and it's only got 18 episodes for the first season. Anyway, Batman Beyond, Rebirth, number 1, the reboot, the Rebirth, reboot, whatever you want to call it.
The revivification.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
it's not a reboot, it's a rebirth. Yeah, sure. Okay, dildo.
You know what? Okay, I'm going to take a stance right here. On my end, this is just a little bit of blatant self-promotion here. A few years ago, I did my own podcast, Authentic Geek, with a friend of mine here in Saskatoon, Doug Goldie, and we did an episode where we basically became whiny man babies about the New 52. Like, we were so pissed off at the time, just like, why? And that's, where we start calling him, the dildo and all that. And honestly, I've seen interviews with the man. I've read interviews with the man. I look back at his history of where he started in the industry. I have to apologize to Dan DiDio. While at times he has not been my favorite mover and shaker in the world of comic books, he does not deserve the hate that I have piled on top of him. He does not deserve the shade I've thrown on him.
Yeah, he's not as bad as he's not as bad as Jesus Jordan Johns. So,
and even then, like, Johns is still...
No, Johns is a frigging tool, in my personal opinion. My opinion has nothing to do with Geekcast Radio Network or the Pull Bag. I watched that Batman preview thing. Both he and Kevin Smith are just utter fucking tools, in my opinion, at this point, because... You know what I'm talking about, right? There was this special in the CW about previewing Wonder Woman, previewing Justice League or whatever. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. No,
okay. So as long as you know what I'm talking about, in this thing, Kevin Smith, who's self-proclaimed comic book nerd like all of us are, whatever. He sits there and is asking Jeff Johns these questions, and when Johns says something incorrect, Kevin, like the little bitch that he is, just goes along with it and doesn't try to... Like, look, I get it. He's getting paid. He's getting paid to do a job. I understand that. But if you're getting paid to do a job and your interviewee says something incorrect about a continuity piece that is known for 70-plus fucking years, you should at least say, well, wait, wasn't that this... Isn't that supposed to happen this way, not the way that you're... I forget what the specific thing was, but I remember in that special, Jeff Johns gave him an answer that was not fully correct. And Kevin just let it fucking slide. And I'm like, damn.
I kind of remember, like I said, both of us are... We failed you, audience, for not remembering exactly how he miscorrect. But honestly... When it comes to media stuff, appearances like that, and I do have like a huge lot of love for Jeff Johns as a writer, as a creator, but as much as you can, for me, my opinion is, as much as you can be mad at him for flubbing like that and not correcting himself, and again, Smith not correcting him, or at least he
doesn't have to correct him. He doesn't have to speak for Johns, but he should have at least asked the question. Wait, don't you mean something? Just something. Don't just frigging gloss over it, even if it was just a 30 or 45 or minute or an hour long. Oh, God. Anyway, Batman Beyond Rebirth.
I'm just saying, I love Jeff Johns more for his comic books and the media appearances, stuff like that. He's at the mercy of the paymasters, the higher-ups at DC, so...
He's the chief creative officer, whatever the hell he... Oh, my God. He is one of the
his chief creative officer, the editor-in-chief. I'm talking the suits that light their cigars with $100 bills. The guys that own everything.
The only suit that's higher up than him is Diane What's-Her-Name, who is the main owner at this point. Whatever.
And honestly, for that whole special, that's just like... It's like those... media magazines you get at a movie theater that have the quote-unquote interviews with movie stars for the movies that have come out that month, the free things they have there. Like, again,
I'm not a fan of most of late night TV now, because it all sucks and none of it's Johnny Carson anymore. But even Jimmy Fallon or Jimmy Kimmel or what's his nuts? No, hell no, not him. Colbert. Even they will call somebody out. But whatever. Anyway, Batman Beyond Rebirth. The Rebirth #1 issue, the one shot starting this whole thing off. I love the cover.
Yeah, I love the main cover. Where Batman's kind of doing the Bela Lugosi kind of pose across his face like that. It's just it's simple and it works.
Is it just me, or is like part of the way that this was drawn? it almost looks like it's like inside of like where his ears are on the center part of his head. It almost looks like a suit in the middle of it, and the top of it's a bald head, like a Lex Luthor type of thing. I know that's the way the art is, but it just, oh my God, no! You know what it is? It's the friggin' Red Hood gang leader. It's the Joker, except it's in black. Anyway. So yeah, that's the main cover. There is an alternative cover where apparently Michael Bay has drawn Batman Beyond and gave him a pair of Jordans from the 90s to wear.
Yeah, where he's standing on the DC logo.
Yeah.
And the suits all kind of chromed up, and he's got like these Wolverine style, like the flanges on his gloves have now become like Freddy Krueger claws or something. Mm-hmm. Yeah, not a huge fan on that.
I kind of like. It's not obviously. I prefer the regular cover, but I kind of like this one. It's not often, and I think we've mentioned this before, but it's very rare that these comics, specifically the Batman Beyond comics, get variant covers unless it's one of DC's variant months or things like that or whatever, but it's very, very rare. Like, I know probably past it, I think I had, did I get issue 3 yet? No, I haven't gotten issue 3 yet. It's one of those things where some of these don't always get variants.
Yeah.
And sometimes I wish they would. But anyway.
Yeah. And the third cover we got is...
Yeah, that's just a Batman advertisement. That's not a real friggin' cover.
I'm just saying. Oh, sorry, I was looking at the cover for the regular #1 issue. Never mind, my bad.
Yeah, no, we'll talk about that later. So we start out several decades from now. I wish they would have just said 65 years in the future. Damn it. Yeah. Anyway, so
I do love it. Basically, I see it as an homage to the first episode of Batman Beyond
Rebirth.
The animated series where we first meet Terry and the Joker comes onto the Skytram.
Right.
And he's
that's what this is. But again, the two-parter, the opening two-parter of the series, is called Rebirth.
Oh yeah.
In Batman Beyond. So no, I wasn't making a joke about the DC Comics Rebirth. I was saying that's what those two episodes were called.
I get you, Mike. But I like this back. There's these two Jokers. I'm gonna say call the one elf and the other mariachi, because he's got that awesome kind of mariachi style hat. I'm sorry, I love that visually. It's striking, but. Yeah, we're back in Neo Gotham. The Jokers are, skyjacking a school bus, basically. And, Terry pops in and does his thing. And I love the image. Like, Ryan Sook is doing the art for this one-shot, who did the main cover in this. I love the two-page spread of him crashing in, putting foot to ass for Neo Gotham, and... It's just this is a straight up classic comic book image.
Yeah, I like this.
To save the day.
Absolutely, I like this when it goes to the full. Because I'm looking at this in comicsology.com through the guided view, and I get two panels that the first panel comes over and it shows Terry. I'm not too keen on Ryan's take on the suit. But once it goes to the full image of it, without being close up on the face, I'm fine with it. I like it. I enjoy it. I will say that it's going to take me some time, getting a couple of pages, getting used to this art. And I know he's only here for this one shot, but it did take me a little while to get used to this because, again, we ended on somebody else in issue 16, and then issue 15 was Bernard Chang, and I was like, wait. I know this is only a one-shot, but is Bernard going to be back? And he will be back. But this first arc is called Escaping the Grave.
Yeah.
As
I love
always,
how they have the coffin silhouette built into the logo for the how they did that. And it was, according to the indication, it's Carlos de Anda was the variant cover artist, which I've seen his work elsewhere. I just, again, not impressed by that first cover or that variant cover.
Yeah.
And,
And as I said, Dan Jurgens on writing as always. Thank God for that. And of course
God
the Joker. Yep. Of course the Joker's stumble around Batman, and I love Terry's inner monologue as he's beating these guys up. I just love the way that story beat is going through.
Yeah. I do like the line, though, I'm touched, as he's slamming, the one Joker's head into the floor, and I'm just like, yes, that is an action hero point for you.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. That's somewhere down the lines toward let off some steam, Bennett. I love it.
Yeah.
And I love the other action movie cliche of, let's call him Ace, this Joker with a shotgun. He does you've probably already got a shell in the chamber. Why did you, rack the slide again? Because it's like, yeah. It's like, yeah, you're not scaring anybody there. Face paint.
No. And then we get a nice little internal monologue after he's still kind of pummeling them, but we go back into the flashback here. No matter what they're dangerous. Learned that when we mixed it up the first time, back when I was a typical high school kid, typical parents, typical kid brother, and typical attitude. And then we get the flashback to Rebirth and the bike chase through.
I love the how they kept how Sook kept the design, the Akira style design of the motorbikes. I would love if I knew how to ride and I could afford it. I would love to have a stunt bike like that. I'd probably get it done up like Akira, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, we flash back to outside Wayne Manor. Bruce showing he's still got it because he's the goddamn Batman. And it's a pretty faithful recreation of these scenes from the 2-part Rebirth bat from the series. Carrie trying to get the bat out of the clock, seeing the
cave,
the costumes and all that.
Yeah, I don't quite like the close-up panel of the costumes. They don't. I'm not saying they have to be the animated ones. I'm not saying that, and they really, they are, because Nightwing in this was always blue. But it's just one of those things where the Batman suit just does not look right, and. I mean,
that's the current design where he's got the
I know, and that's
with the yellow outlines.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're going to look, I get it. This is Sook's own kind of thing. He's modifying the current design, but if you're going to homage the very first 2-parter of Batman Beyond, at least go in the style, or at least close to the style of what it was.
Yeah,
because that's the difference here. When we see if you go back before we get to the flashback here, the art style obviously changes between when Terry as Batman is fighting the Jokers. It's a little bit more polished, and then when we get to the flashback, it's kind of like a gradient kind of
dulled out a bit.
Yeah, it's very. It's very gravelly, kind of like Christian Bale. It's like I said, it's a gradient type of hard, not really hard edge, but just hard backgrounds, and some of the panel where Bruce is fighting off the Jokers, where Terry's like, but he was in a class all his own. That panel there, it's like Ryan is working with. Instead of rock salt, rock colors or something. It's just, and I'm not complaining about it. I'm just trying to explain how I'm seeing it. I think it's interesting comparing it to what the actual present day art is, and I get that they have to distinguish.
Very washed out.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And it's still both the same art, but it's like they even have that panel where Bruce is yelling at Terry to get out of the cave, and they laid that over top like the
of
present
the suit. Because he's remembering back.
Yeah, but it's just like how you have the modern day stuff is much more brighter and it pops, and the flashback is a little duller because it's in the past and all that. I do love the whole line of Terry telling the passengers to stay down. And they're like, "Was the metal going to stop their blasters?" He's like, "No, just needed a clear shot." And he does the double takeout.
Yep.
And hopefully those jokers landed on something soft, because we are about 50 bajillion stories in the air, because the future of Gotham City is basically that of Blade Runner, where everything's like a million kilometers into the sky.
Yeah, or the Jetsons. I'm just waiting for Astro and Orbity to show up at this point.
Jesus, don't bring that on us, man.
Hey, Orbity, no. Orbity was not as bad as Cousin Oliver.
Orbity is the goddamn Scrappy Doo of the Jetsons. And
hey, you leave Scrappy out of this.
I'll never leave Scrappy out of this.
You leave Scrappy alone.
Scrappy is evil.
So we go back to the present day and Barbara and Tim, and we have Barbara. Yeah, not Tim. I'm sorry, not wow. I'm pulling a U from last time. Terry, Barbara and Terry. Thank you. And Barbara's back to her short red hair, which is fine.
She's got the future grandma Jubilee glasses again.
Yeah, those glasses are a little weird.
Well, they're goggles, and maybe they've got targeting. It's like some heads-up display thing. Mm-hmm. And they're talking about this idea of something called Joker Town in the city, where the Jokers essentially... What if the Jokers took over, the Bronx, but anytime the cops showed up, they took off their makeup and the costumes and blended into the populace? And then the two of the Jokers that they caught, looks like Elf and, Mariachi, start laughing uncontrollably. And essentially they've been suicided with Joker venom, I'm guessing false teeth or something, that they don't control, because one's actually calling for help. And then it's like, Joker venom. Is it possible he's still alive? No. Joker's been dead for years. Mm-hmm. But Terry's still thinking about it. And then we go and hard right turn. They go to see what Dana.
Yeah.
And she's a social worker now in this, post Brother Eye Gotham City.
And we haven't seen Dana since what? Future's End #0, maybe?
Something like that. They literally, through the Tim Drake Batman Beyond series, and as to my recollection, she was never mentioned in any of Terry's appearances.
In which one?
Well, in like Future's End, which was like the week.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
They just did not mention Dana at all. Like even in some of the flashbacks in the Drake series, I don't think they ever brought up Dana.
I thought they brought her up like once or twice. Like at the point when it's Tim and Terry, Terry's past and Tim's present when he's going into the place where where they're supposed to find whatever. I think that Bruce mentions it in the past, but again, that was last week and the week before, folks, and the month before, so I don't know. So Dana is a social worker, and she's going to help these people that are in Joker's Town, but not really, because a giant boxing glove is going to knock the cop out that's with her, and...
I don't know about you. I love the idea of the Jokers running a protection racket in their territory.
Yeah.
And then something straight out of the Tim Burton '89 film where, because this lady essentially ratted Dana out to the Jokers because they kidnap her and take her away. She's like, payday, and starts throwing the money out. And it's like that scene with Nicholson is like, I'm giving you money, hubba, hubba. Like that whole thing in the float, which I absolutely love in the film.
Absolutely.
And then another hard pivot, we go to Matt and Terry's apartment.
Yep. And I like this. I think this is cool. Because Matt is essentially hero-worshipping his brother because he's Batman. And Terry's just trying to say, no, it's not, I
guess maybe it's the three of them because Max is there too. But it's nice to see that...
Well, Max does show up.
Matt's grown up a bit.
Oh, yeah. Well, when you have to find your brother, in the other series. But, yeah, so...
It's not like the animated series where he'll put on a werewolf mask and give his brother a coronary. This little prick.
I don't quite like... And I know this is not a flashback, so I don't quite like the way Sook drew Max in this. Maybe, I don't know, it just doesn't seem to fit in with... Like the panel where she kind of is introduced, Terry, I can't believe you're here. and he says something wrong, Max. Like, in that panel here, Terry and Matt look naturally like they're supposed to be in the same panel, and then her design, yes, it is proper, it is correct, it is the right skin tone, the right hair color, but just the way that it's, I don't know, it's just
not
doesn't...
the near buzz cut she had in the animated series.
Well, no, well, it is and it isn't, but what I'm saying is that her design doesn't look like it fits with theirs. I don't know, you know, and
9 times out of 10, you know,
yeah,
it's not always perfect.
And like I said, I will, you know, by the end of this, I will come around to Sook's art, but I would have much rather have had Bernard Chang doing this. But anyway, that's just my personal opinion.
So,
the
Matt
Bats
gets a news alert that Dana's been kidnapped.
Yeah.
And even Matt's like the first one, what would they want with Dana?
Yeah.
And then Terry suits up, you know, we see a couple of shots of him traveling through the city, inner monologuing.
I love these. I love these shots. Like the faraway shot, not so much, but I'm more concerned when I was reading through this. I was more concerned about the inner monologue. But that close-up shot where he says, "By the time I came back, I didn't know what to say to her." I love that shot of him kind of coming around the building, and then the other one, you know, at the end where he's like, "What do I do? Walk up to her and say, 'Hey, I'm back from the grave. Oh, and by the way, I'm Batman.'" You know, I just absolutely love, and even the panel after this. Now she's down here working the old part of town, like that super close up. Even though I'm still not too keen on the suit itself, I like the shot.
Yeah, and I do like the whole sound effect of Terry landing hard and kicking up the big plume of dust and walking out of it in silhouette, and all you see is his eyes and the bat symbol. Like you know, if the homeless guys weren't more scared of the Jokers, they'd probably be soiling their already soiled clothes. And it's like that, you don't have to fear me. Oh, we're not afraid of you. We're afraid of him. And then Terry just gets straight up cold cocked by a venomized Joker.
Yep.
And not like Titan Venom Joker from like Arkham Asylum. Like, this is straight up.
No, this is basically, what if Bane and the Joker had children?
Oh God.
That's what it is.
Those are some ugly children.
Well, there's an ugly guy right there, so, you know.
Yeah, I love how this guy's got his hair curled up into this, like, Ace Ventura style, like, pompadour, some kind of hook. Like, it just looks so wrong. But yeah, he's basically got a Venom pack strapped to his back. He's got the hoses plugged in like Bane. You know, he's basically thrown Terry through a brick wall and then drops the rest of the wall on top of him.
Yep. And then we go to a
club called the No Laughing Matter, which to me, I hope it comes up again in this series. And this could be like the Stack Deck bar from the animated series. And Dana calls it. I was like, I know who you really are, Carter. Yeah. And he's like, that's when I was a child. I go by Terminal now.
Yeah. And again, I like this because we're getting every piece of what the animated series kind of set out. We've got Terry and Matt. Yes, the parents aren't here anymore. The father died, obviously, was killed years ago. And his mom, died in the war, with Brother Eye, apparently. But we're also getting... I'm wondering, and I don't think Dan will do this since he already kind of gave her a good send-off in the other series. I'm wondering if Ink will show up again. I mean, Ink always reappears, but, we all can't be Marvin Acme, right? But it's one of those things where I like the fact that Terminal is back, and I'm wondering what other villains will show up other than this, reanimated Joker thing, because this one-shot ends on, basically, the man I'm raising from the dead, the Joker.
Yeah, we see him, all strapped up with, hoses going in every possible orifice. And he's got, this whole, literally, it almost looks like the net is coming alive and trying to swallow the Joker with all the lights and the wires and the tubes. Oh, my. But yeah, and I love how they ended definitely to be continued. No, because we're going to end it in this one shot, and you're just going to have to wonder.
Yeah, really. The Rebirth #1 shot for Batman Beyond, I did very much enjoy it. I will say when I was first reading through it to get the story, and I've said this for the last 4.5, 5 years here in the pull bag, when I go to read the comics to take my notes for when we discuss these things, I'm reading for the story. I notice the art if the art, kind of pops off the page, but when we go back and go through them like we are here, I notice things more as we're doing the recording when it comes to like visual gags or things like that. The way I read comics is especially for reviewing here on the podcast, is I read it almost as if it's a book. And like I said, I notice the art, but I don't really pay attention to every single thing. And I like the Rebirth issue. I'm not too keen on Sook's art. It's good. I'm not saying I dislike it, but it's not my favorite. If I had to choose, I would someone other than Bernard Chang to be doing this one shot, or someone other than Sook to be doing this one shot. It would probably be the guy Thompson from a couple issues ago. Thompson did issue 16 of the 2015 series, I think. So overall, Rebirth, Batman Beyond Rebirth #1. What did you think?
I'm giving it a solid 4 out of 5. It's the only reason I take a point off it is I'm kind of like you. Is like I like the concept of these one shots, starting off these new series in the DC Rebirth era. Mm-hmm. I like that because you don't have to, because when you get a brand new issue #1 of an ongoing series, there's almost a silent contract of, you got to get the next issue, or maybe the 3 issues. You got to give it a 4-episode trial to see if you want the series. But with these ones, maybe the art's not going to be the same, but if the story hooks you, as it did with both of us here, you at least have that taste, and you'll go forward with the series, which is something I liked. But at the same time, it's just kind of like, you can't leave it on such a cliffhanger and then give us another new #1, so it's just a nitpicky reason why I take that single point off.
See, that's the thing. Like, I wish, like, with Rebirth, okay, DC Universe Rebirth #1, they specifically call, you know what I'm talking about, right? The Flash, okay.
The one-shot.
The one-shot. They specifically called that a one-shot. It might have had a #1 on the cover, but I don't think it was actively called DC Universe.
DC Rebirth Special or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. So if these one-shots to start off the new series were called that instead, because I got confused for a second, where I'm like, wait, why are there 2 #1s here? That's a little weird, DC Comics. Come on now, guys, get with the program. For me on this one, if this is somebody that has only seen the animated series, that has not read any of the Kyle Higgins run, that has not read any of the DC 2015 Dan Jurgens run, the one-shot is okay. It will remind you, if you have not seen the original Batman Beyond series in a long time, it'll remind you of that. But for us who have been reading this for so long, it didn't fall flat, but the flashback stuff is something I did not need, because I know Terry McGinnis' origin. But I understand why it's here, and I'm okay with it. Still, I got to give this a 3.5. I can't give it any higher than that. It's still a good grade, but it felt very repetitive to me, unless it was, setting up with, Terminal and Max and Matt and Dana and the future Joker and all that.
Yeah.
So #1, issue #1 of the ongoing here, Jurgens, Chang, and Maiello, I assume? I don't know.
Marcelo Maiello.
Yeah, exactly. The first cover is okay.
I love this first cover. It is a movie poster. It's got this great cinematic feel to it. We got Batman right in the middle.
Yeah.
We got Dana and Matt and Max off to the side. Barbara on the other side. We got Terry just staring out from behind Batman. We got some Jokers on hover bikes with looks like glowing Ghost Rider style wheels riding away from an explosion. Like, this is everything you should want in a comic book cover.
And see, I prefer the alternate cover because it's very simple. It's just the Batman Beyond suit that is not... It's the new suit. It's the current suit, but it's not the way that, it's not the more robotic suit that the first cover has. It's more of the stylized suit, and he has the red Batarang kind of being thrown out,
it's got more of an organic look to it as he's crashing through this window.
Yeah, I love cover, this one. Yeah,
but I prefer the movie poster that we got for the main cover.
I prefer the other one. Yeah.
Yeah. So we go right into it with a Terminal, almost monologuing what his plan is, but really not. Like, he's being a hype man. He's selling his plan to Dana. But that first image, like Bernard Chang's back in this thing, and that first image of Terminal, it looks like somebody pancaked his nose with a frying pan.
Yep. It looks like it looks like Mama came up with a frying pan. Oh, Ed! That's what it looks like.
Yeah, just like Mama said, knock you out, and I think she did. But
pretty much.
We go and we see who is the most influential citizen in Gotham? It's Batman. Wrong. And I told you, call me Terminal.
Joker.
Yeah, the Joker. I love that where he says, like, it's Batman. Wrong, Dana, and then just, I don't know about you, in my head is like Kevin Spacey and Batman or Superman Returns. It's like, wrong! Which I think is a vastly underrated performance by the man, in my opinion.
Yeah, it is, but that movie overall sucked, even with him in it.
Well, it for various reasons, but that's a whole other episode of a completely different podcast.
Yeah, Brandon Routh is better off as the Atom.
Although he was I liked his Superman, but anyway. But so we go from the looking at the Joker on his sick bed, and Terry monologuing, and for a quick second, then we go back to Terminal and Dana as
dude, really? She does not look anything like Brent Spiner. She looks better.
Okay, and who made the character flub in the last comic book, Mike?
Hey, I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, so, and he's basically hyping up the Joker because she's like, Joker's important to Gotham. If not for Batman, who's still here, Gotham would have disintegrated years ago. And he's like, well, don't overlook the obvious. Who inspired a legion of followers? Who does everyone really want to be? And that's like almost, I would have to ask Jurgens if he based that comment off of the meme of, as a kid, you want to be Batman. As an adult, you want to be the Joker because he makes sense. That sort of thing. But it's who we really wish to be when we want to kill our boss, spouse, neighbor, or the evil librarian who hit us with an overdue fine.
As soon as I read that, I'm like, damn it, Jurgens, you need to leave the killing joke alone. That's the first
joke, Mike.
No, she was a librarian in it. That's the first thing I thought of was...
Think about a red-headed librarian? No, you just an evil librarian.
Well, yeah, but that's the first thing I thought of was Barbara as the librarian.
That's where you took it, Mike.
Yeah, so we get
while he's doing the hype up here, we see these two Jokers are menacing ordinary citizen and, kill him because he refuses to pay tribute. And then,
we cut to Max and Matt, and Matt's got her blindfolded and is going to do all kinds of crazy, freaky shit. No, he's taking her into the cave.
He's a 12-year-old boy, Mike.
Hey, you never know.
This is not Michael Dodd taking a woman somewhere, okay?
I don't know about that.
No, it's so Matt is
no, I didn't lead you there. That's your own twisty Canadian sense.
Then Matt's going to do something.
I don't know. Well, anyway, hey, you never know.
Matt's called an audible, and he's revealed the Batcave to Max.
Yeah, the Bat Lair.
And again, it's the super it's the super hot teched up Batcave that it's a slightly different design that we saw the last time. We still got the T-Rex out on the floor there.
Yeah, and I gotta say, and I'm sorry, I gotta call Bernard Chang out on this. This Batcave design, it is one little panel, and it looks like crap. Like, the computer stuff is fine, where the Bat computer is, but the panel where she says, Batman's lair, talk about Shui. Lair? What kind of word is lair? This is the Batcave, woman. Well, Matt didn't say
goddamn Batcave.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, if you look at this panel here, it just looks anticlimactic. Like, this is not... even in Terry's time, the Batcave is supposed to look really friggin' cool. Even in the time, if Bruce is alive still or dead or whatever. This thing looks like an empty watchtower. It just looks too freaky.
Yeah, it's plain, but...
Yeah.
There's stuff there, but yeah...
It's plain and boring, and there's nothing
it's
there.
a whole lot of meh.
Yeah, pretty much. So they're tracking Terry's suit, and apparently there's something wrong. Before we go back to Terry, notice where Matt is standing. The signals we're getting are weak, really weak. Something's wrong. Look at where he's standing, and then look at the chair behind him. It almost looks like a bat. The chair for the computer.
Yeah.
Looks like a bat.
Well, everything's branded with a bat motif in the Batcave. I mean, he's probably got bat napkin holders, for God's sake.
Bat salt shakers, bat bookends.
Bat coasters.
Oh, Lord. Alright, so we go back to Terry, and he is crushed under the rubble of this thing that this Joker has pushed him under and can't really move. Again, love the monologue. And I love Terry thinking, how is he going to get out of this? And he can kind of hear Matt, but Matt can't hear him. So, he has this idea for these explosives to go down this pipe, and if I drop them in, and bing, bada, bing, bam, boom, we get this...
He blows himself up really good, but in a completely well thought out and positive way.
Yeah, because he can't reach that far down, even in that suit.
Yeah, and we see with this design, he's wearing the Air Jordans of 2065.
Mm-hmm.
I do like that. He's got bat coasters, bat bookends, bat ball bearings, which are of course explosives because everything doubles as an explosive with Batman.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Matt tells him, it's like, go get him, bro, and he's back into it with Joker Bane here.
But right before we get to that, we get this again through the Comixology guided view, close up on the panel of him running, because he says, "I don't know if I'm lucky or good. I swear to God, those are '90s Jordans."
Oh yeah, he's wearing Air Jordans of the future. The future. And I do love, again, there's our second Batman '89 reference of this series so far, and I was like, God bless you, Dan Jurgens.
You wouldn't need a man with glasses, would you?
Yeah,
you would.
You beautiful son of a bitch, Jurgens. You know what you do to us. And then he's
Absolutely.
like, I guess that's a yes. Blam! Hits the side of a truck. And Terry's getting worked pretty good. I mean, this is like John Cena versus the Great Khali, sort of. You got this nigh unstoppable force with a very movable object here.
Yep.
And Matt's wondering, how can this be happening? How is he kicking your ass? And Max is like, he's been out of shape for like years, man. Like, he's got ring rust.
Spellbinder had him under his control too long, and this Bane Joker, up until the point where Terry realizes, oh hey, I can just kind of rip these venom things out of you, and then you'll be gone.
Yeah, so
because he even says. He even says, let's see how you'll be without the juice.
And honestly, I thought I didn't catch it right away that he was slipping the batarangs out of his utility belt.
Yeah.
I thought they were
coming out of his wrists.
Well, coming
like
out
they're
of his
supposed
shoes,
to.
and he was like his toes, like he has these, X-23 style bat claws coming out of his shoes. He was just gonna kick the guy in the ribs or something. But yeah, he slices the hoses off. Joker Bane goes down.
Yep.
Picks up a manhole cover and concusses this guy. I don't care if this guy's coming down off of Venom. That dude is going to be A, missing some teeth, and B, be in a lower reading group when he wakes up.
Yeah.
It's a solid. And then, a bunch of Jokers, and again...
Kill the bat! Kill the bat! Kill the bat!
And honestly, and again, this is just me, I'm reminded of Chris O'Donnell versus the Dayglow Neon Street Gang, led by Don the Dragon Wilson and Batman Forever.
Yep.
After he steals the Batmobile and tries to pick up some hookers. It's a true fact, folks. Watch the movie. And then they're all all of a sudden they're pulling out knives, and they're all I want a piece. No, I want him. No, he's mine. And you just see, Terry getting swarmed by this full-page image, and I love that shot. Mm-hmm. It's stuff like this that makes me love comics, where it's just these certain iconic sort of images where the hero's being bared down on. It's like Wolverine being swarmed by Hand Ninja or something. It's just... And some of the Jokers, I love the design of the one guy in kind of the lower right side. You see the one guy with a construction helmet or a hard hat on, and he's got the giant mallet.
Yep.
That's my favorite Joker right there. Is just yeah, I'm gonna go pound the bat, boss. Mm-hmm. He looks like he's in a lower reading group all on his own, and then Terry, activates his suit taser. He gets cold cocked by a crowbar. They pile on him again, and then he blasts off.
Yeah, because the suit is essentially shredded, and again, I love these close-ups. I love it when Chang does stuff like this. Basically showing how the suit is so shredded that he needs to get the hell out of there.
GTFO.
Exactly.
I love them in the show. I'm a nitpick for me here, and it's just one. I loved it in the animated series where the suit would get ratched, and you'd see the circuitry underneath, versus here where it just looks like so much cloth.
Yeah, it does, but... it's yes, you're right, but again, it's one of those things where we as the readers and as the viewers of the comic have to realize that there's a guy in that suit. Yes, the suit is super high tech, and yes, it can do a lot, but it's not like it's on Robert Dam Vance.
Yeah.
Because, this isn't Stacy Keach voicing the great-great-grandfather here anymore. This is Terry McGinnis. And I get it. I understand where you're coming from, but I almost like this just a little bit better because it's more humanizing to realize, hey, that's just a guy in a suit. Even though the suit is amazing, but it's just a guy that's in the suit. It's not It's supposed to be the man that makes the suit, not the suit that makes the man.
Exactly. Which Terry proves in the next few pages, because he comes back to the cave, and Matt's like, I thought he was going to kick all the ass. And Matt's
Terry's
just
like, nope.
Well, Max even points out, the odds were overwhelming. And Terry is like, no, I wasn't ready. I was treating it like I still had it, and he doesn't have it. At least not for another few issues, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, and then what I love, before we move on, what I love here is the exchange when they come back, when Terry says, maybe this is one time Batman can't do the job, and Matt's like, don't say that. Why not? It's true. A couple of thousand Joker wannabes, that's beyond Batman. I love that.
He said the thing. He said the thing.
Yeah, I love that.
I love how Matt, just the whole... how he is so totally... He's gone from being annoying little twat... Sorry, twip. That's what I meant to say. And now he's and he was growing up and hero worshipping his brother. Now you see him, he's like, oh, my brother's a quitter. He's a filthy quitter.
Yeah, but he's not, because he said Batman couldn't win. Not quite. I said Batman couldn't win. Couldn't fight them. You cannot be serious.
Yeah, and I love...
You know what they say, if you can't beat them, join them.
Yeah, and I love the fact that literally in the conversation, you know some time has passed, but it doesn't look like that based on the progression of the scene. in the art. So essentially, Terry steps into a quick change costume closet and comes out, like, in about the span of 30 seconds, comes out suited and booted as a Joker.
And it's awesome because it is a pull. It's a callback to Justice Lords, the Justice Lord story that Christos Gage and Kyle Higgins did. Because in the Justice Lords timeline, that Terry McGinnis was a Joker.
Yeah.
So that is awesome. Issue number 1 overall, I think it's great. It's much better than the Rebirth number 1 for me because we're getting Terry reacclimated to being Batman. We see that he's not ready yet. He's not ready to face 1,000 Jokers. And we see Matt's kind of hesitation, even though, you know, throughout the issue we have Matt kind of judging him, but Terry consistently shows him the proper way, I guess you could say, or maybe that's not the right phrasing I'm looking for, but just the way that, okay, just because I said Batman couldn't do it didn't mean that it couldn't be done. Yeah. I absolutely love this number 1. It's 4.5 easily.
Yeah, it's I'm giving it 5. Like I said, it's straight up. I love this first issue. There's, you know, the Batman '89 reference, that images of the Joker swarming on Terry, the fact that he is a quick change artist. You know, I love it. It's and like I said, that first cover, man, like that is just straight up. That is a cover you want for your number 1. You want a movie poster for your first issue.
Yeah, I like the other one better. But anyway, going into number 2, Bring Down the Bat. And okay, well so number 2 does have a variant. Okay. I don't necessarily like the regular cover for number 1 because it's essentially just Terminal holding a torn, shredded Batsuit with other Jokers around him. I do love the variant though, where it's Batman in the center and everybody else around him, and the orange and the blue juxtaposition of color. Absolutely love that.
I'm gonna say like the first cover I probably like more. It's just not saying the second cover is bad. It's just it's not working for me. Mm-hmm. You know, it's just I like you said, like the difference in color, like almost the color clash with like that blue and Terry in the middle, and then what I guess is 2 different images of maybe Max, because you're not entirely certain who those characters are in the background.
Yeah, it's Max and.
Or maybe it's 2 different images of Max and Matt, who knows? But, you know, it's just not my cup of tea. And we go back to the no laughing matter. You know, Terminal is like, I apologize for keeping tied up. I'm a bit busy right now, and I don't want you running off. And Dana's still calling him Carter, and he's like, I told you not to call me that. Like, at least in this one, he's not as messed in the head as he was in the animated series. Mm-hmm. And some of the comic books where he has like this whole Two-Face vibe going on.
Yeah.
But he's using the Joker to transfer some sort of data or get some sort of access with this data pad.
Mm-hmm. And we get essentially Terminal giving us a flashback to when Bruce was in the Bat Beyond, slightly different version of the Bat Beyond suit, like Bat Beyond version 1.0. And what I absolutely love, hey, look, it's Cesar Romero.
It does look like the Cesar Romero Joker. It does.
Oh, look, just in this first panel here where he says, I hate quiet and peaceful, so I'll change it. You know, I really do see as it goes along, not so much. But in that very first panel, that was the first thought I had.
Yeah.
And we get this kind of almost colorful Batman and Joker fight. Because the backgrounds are so very, very colorful. It's like snowing outside and, you know, on the Gotham Bridge and things like that. So I like that about the art. Once again, Bernard Chang on the art. And we have, I assume that's Barbara, right?
Yeah, it's Barbara.
Okay.
I mean, you mistake those granny glasses for someone else?
No, it's just she's younger here. Like, she's younger than what we saw her in the first issues here.
Because this is a flashback.
I know, I understand that, but maybe it's the hair that just kind of is throwing me off. But I love, my old friend Barbara. It might be cold. I just love that. That's one way Jurgens is just taunting us with the whole Killing Joke thing.
Yeah. And I like this, Batman coming in and booting the Joker head first out the window of this snowplow. Mr. Plow, that's my name. Mm-hmm. That name again is Mr. Plow. And
you killed Captain Clown.
No.
I know it's Mr. Plow, but Captain Clown was on a plow, I think, at one point.
And I love how Batman, has rescued the plow operator, and he's, well, pardon my French, he's boot fucked the Joker, and leaves him. You see this train coming down the tracks with this massive snow fan blade thing.
Yep.
And the Joker starts laughing, and this is what is seen as the death of the Joker in this continuity. And Dana is like, I read that they proved with the remains that was what was left of the Joker. And Carter says, no, he was just incredibly fucked up. And he's got his gang put him into a cryogenic freeze, and he would have stayed cool as a cucumber until Carter found him.
And I'm perfectly fine with Joker getting supposedly hit by a train in this and again, like Carter is saying, and like you're saying, Carter is saying, I found him, and he was, had like one limb of life left on him and whatever else. But the thing of it is I don't need a rehash of Return of look, Mark of the Phantasm, the middle arc or the final arc, one of the final arcs that Kyle Higgins did on his run, that was fine, bringing the Phantasm back and somehow tying it all in, and to get the DC Animated Universe kind of a proper continuity ending kind of thing. I don't need Return of the Joker here. I'm fine with Terminal trying to bring back the Joker in some new story form, but I don't need to see the Joker, turn Tim Drake again. Not that we would, because Tim Drake's already adult and whatever else because of the whole time travel thing. But I like what they're doing here. I like that they're kind of, giving it its own spin without having to rely on any of the previous Batman Beyond stuff. And then, of course, we get to the best shots of the issue, kind of, the Batmobile. Yay!
Yeah. Use everything you got. And as much of the detail, like, this looks like, the Batmobile, the Beyond-mobile.
Yep, the Beyond-mobile. They do pull a Chris O'Donnell.
Yeah, well...
no, they do! Look out, Max! Sorry, Matt, not like I've had a lot of practice behind the wheel of this thing, Yeah. It's essentially flying up the side of a building, kind of like it drove up the side of the building when O'Donnell was driving into the movie. Again, Jurgens is just kind of paying homage to everything in a very subtle way that only us only those who have seen all of the Batman things that have been referenced here are going to catch these things.
Allow us to push our comic hipster glasses up our noses and thumb ourselves at our intimate knowledge, folks. We're better than you.
Yes, because after all, we are comic connoisseurs. Ha ha ha. And then we get
I am not telling Matt about that one.
Thumbs up our asses. Thumbs up our asses.
No,
anyway.
I don't know what you're doing, Kentucky.
No, we get another 89 reference, sort of. It's upside down, but we sort of get an 89 reference. Just got word from my brother. Says he's in position and we're good to go to step 2. Look at the Batmobile. It's in front of the sun. It's upside down, but it still works.
Yeah, and I love hearing, occasionally I'll see a review of 89 Batman on YouTube, or I'll read somebody, and people always bitch about how forced that was, and there's no good
that was
reason
not
why Batman
forced at all.
It's forced symbolism, because look, it's the logo.
That was not forced symbolism. Forced symbolism is putting a question mark over the bat signal in forever, but Because you're right. That was the Bat logo. Oh, hey, look. But he did that specifically.
I'm not saying it's for symbolism. I'm just saying that's what a lot of people bitch about that scene, which is one of my favorite moments in '89 Batman, where it climbs up. Although even as a kid, I was like, is he going to have a hard time steering the thing from like the pretty much terminal velocity that he's flying at? And that's like way in the back of my brain as a kid. It's like, this is so cool. And he's just pulling out. It's like, even though I did have to question because I hadn't really read Golden Age Batman stories where he used the gun, so I questioned, why is Batman shooting at the Joker? So anyway, it's all part of the plan. As they see here, we see Tiny, which is the Bane Joker, is back, and you can see he's kind of got like an armored up chest piece on because oh my god, forethought from a coked up supervillain. Oh my god,
who'd have thunk it?
Yeah, and he throws basically an air conditioner at the Batmobile. It's this. I don't think this is a nod to almost. Pardon me. The episode Almost Got Him, but in that image where he's hefting the air conditioner over his head, all I could hear is Killer Croc's voice is like, "It was a big rock.
I threw a rock at him,"
and everyone just stares at him. It was a big rock. So yeah, then we see Joker Terry comes out with, I love the purple and silver. He's got a bazooka that he shoots at the Batmobile.
It's a bazooka. It's a rocket launcher, but it really is a rocket launcher. But I'd like to think it's a bazooka.
Yeah, well, bazooka, rocket launcher, grenade launcher, whatever. It's a big thing that shoots a missile.
Yeah. It's a bazooka. You just don't want to chew it.
And I like that how everyone's like, he shows it, and it's all in an effort to ingratiate itself in the gang. And you can tell from word one, Terminal is not buying this shit.
Well, he does, but he wasn't at first. You're right. But
I think from word one, he's like, oh yeah, the Batmobile totally went down. Batman is totally out of it. I don't like he's definitely waiting for the turnaround, but I don't think he bought it for 1 second.
Yeah, but the way that they did this was awesome because they basically used the Bat stealth.
Yeah, and then
to show that
they drop a. I love, again, this is just me. I don't think this is an '89 Batman reference, but they pop this little baseball bomb out the side to make it look like the Batmobile crashed, and Terry's like, "You think the Bat bailed?" He's like, "Maybe, maybe not." And who are you? And then he's like, Tiny comes up to them, and Terminal's all like, "Who the hell are you?" He's like, "I just got out of the clink and wanted to join up, have some fun."
Oh, God, yes. And then, of course, again, we have got to talk to Dan Jurgens. Oh, my God. I want to talk to I've read his Batmite series. I've read the 2015 Batman Beyond series. I need to talk to this guy because he nearly made me both laugh and cry with this next scene. I'm Trey Malone. You must have heard of my old man. Most people called him Matches. Worked just about every angle there was. I nearly died. I nearly fell out of my fucking chair.
And I love that I did like just two fists in the air. I was like, Matches Malone lives.
Yep. And Terminal's like, I didn't know Matches had a kid. And we cut to Dana. That voice, it can't possibly be. Yeah. And Terry alive? Next revelations. I am loving this series. I cannot wait to do... we will be doing these, folks, on a more regular basis as they come out. I believe number 3 is out now, but I don't know how long this series is going to go. I don't care. All as I know is whatever Dan Jurgens and Bernard Chang or whoever else, like if Bernard needs time off or whatever and somebody else comes on, I don't care what they do, but I am loving this. This is awesome.
Honestly, down the road, I hope Dan Jurgens does a fill-in issue on the series. I would love to see Dan Jurgens do Batman Beyond.
Oh, you mean his art? Okay.
Yeah.
That would mean somebody else might write it. I don't know. You got to be careful with wishful thinking like that.
Well, write-ups are happening all the time. I'm just saying it doesn't happen.
I know, but
a single issue, a
Yeah.
one-shot, an annual, whatever. Just please, Mr. Jerkins, please.
yes. Overall, issue number 5. It's hands down a fucking 5 because it's amazing. As soon as they pulled the matches reference, I'm like, oh god, you jackholes! Oh,
How dare you set the hook? How dare you, sir?
I know.
You know, and I love that. Yeah, as soon as they played the matches, it was like I was sold this whole issue. I mean, the flashback fight, which kind of, because it wasn't the Joker, but it kind of threw me back to an episode of The Batman, where it's a future one where, like, further in the future, where this archaeologists find the Batcave, and they flash back to this story of like an elder Reno Romano voiced Batman, and Jerry O'Connell is doing Nightwing, and Barbara Gordon has come full on Oracle, and they're fighting like this jacked up Mr. Freeze, you know, who's voiced to perfection by Clancy Brown in the series. I love that show. But yeah, no, this whole issue, start to finish, like Bernard Chang's on point with the art. You know, I love the design of the proto Beyond suit that Bruce wears, where he's strapped to the front of the snowplow. Yeah. You know, the whole kind of ongoing mystery with the, you know, I love you see it in the first issue, there's like this, they make a specific point to show this Joker mopping the back room of the No Laughing Matter Club or bar while while Terminal is monologuing to Dana. You know, the whole plan of them to get Terry into the gang with like the trick bazooka and, you know, faking it out with the Batmobile, and again the Matches Malone card. Like, if you don't know who Matches Malone is, Clark, Matches Malone is a criminal identity, is an actual criminal Batman came across in his past that eventually the guy died, and then Batman assumed the identity to when he needs to go undercover to you know, get the dirt on criminals. It's like Jake Lockley in like the character Moon Knight, you know, the superhero with like 3 different identities. He's a skin that Batman wears. And I love the fact that whenever Batman shows up, he's got these like Stan Lee glasses and a porn star mustache and like this ratty, like, this style went out in the 70s, like some sort of loud plaid looking suit. And no one ever questions when Matches Malone goes away for months at a time, years, and then Batman pulls him out. And the fact that they're using that in Batman Beyond
is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, anytime Matches shows up, even that one episode of, you know, Brave and the Bold.
Well, even in the DC animated universe, when he has to sneak it was in Justice League in Starcross, when Bruce dresses up as Matches, and Matches, it's essentially a dead-on Alan Napier Alfred from '66 is how Matches looked at that point in that Starcrossed episode, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of awesome. But no, overall, Batman Beyond, Rebirth, whatever you want to call it, the 2016 series, current series, absolutely loving it. Can't wait to do more of these. We will most definitely be doing more of these. I think it's just so friggin' great. We're going to get the heck out of here, folks. Coming up next week for Batman Month, JT's going to go eat himself some turtle soup while Joe and I actually talk about Batman TMNT. This is the 6-issue mini-series from IDW Publishing and DC Comics, which combines the Batman, the animated series type animation style with the 2012 TMNT characters, which the 2012 TMNT series is coming to an end, and they're rebooting it to go 2D. Oh boy. So there's that. But yes, Batman Beyond, we will be doing more of these, as I said. Join us next week for Batman TMNT issues 1 to 6, and then after that, JT will be back to talk about the Stephanie Brown Batgirl series, the first 2 issues of that, to wrap up the 3rd annual Batman month here on the Pullbag. Where can the people find you online, sir?
Well, you can find me online sporadically on the Comic Connoisseurs podcast and on Twitter at JT from Saskatoon.
Absolutely, because we're the comic connoisseurs. We stick our noses up at yellow printed Batman.
You're going to pay for that, Blanchard.
It's a Golden Age Batman. He is drenched in piss. It's Pissman on the bat.
I have no idea how your mind works, sir.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do. Anyway, you can find me on Twitter at TFG and Mike. You can follow at Geekcast Radio for all of the network updates. Also, follow The Pullbag at The Pullbag on Twitter. Go to the website, geekcastradio.com. Check out all the content over there as well. Make your great escape into comics. We will catch you next week when Joe Reed and I talk about the 6-issue miniseries for Batman TMNT from IDW and DC Comics. We will catch you next time.
Ace.
Good bad dog.
How am I supposed to fight advanced alien technology with a stupid stick?
You've just heard the latest episode of The Pullbag, the GCRN's comic review and discussion podcast. There are several ways to get in touch with us and leave feedback for the show. You can visit the website, geekcastradio.com, where you can comment on the episode and all of our different podcasts. You can rate our show on iTunes. Be sure to leave us feedback. Call the voicemail line, 502-526-5821. Please remember to tell us the show you are leaving the message for, and your name. Become a fan of us on Facebook by searching Geekcast Radio Network. Send us an email feedback at geekcastradio.com. Follow us on Twitter at Geekcast Radio. So until next time, make your great escape into comics and unleash the geek in you.